Well, hey everybody, it's Sandy and welcome back to my channel dedicated to helping you advocate for your own health, one topic at a time. So guys, I've got a lot of material for you today, not the least of which is a full review on the linens, antimicrobial linens made by Synovia. I think it gives a whole new literal meaning to their slogan. Synovia's got you covered. All right, so let's get into a review of these new antimicrobial bed linens, shall we? So the people at Synovia contacted me, I don't know, 4 or 6 weeks ago. They did graciously gift me a set of linens to try out and review for you. So I've been using these about a month now. Now, one of the nice things about the antimicrobial quality of these is the same thing we've talked about with their masks in the past, which is that you don't have to wash it so often. But for the purpose of the review, I did wash these several times so that I could give you guys a sense of how they wear. Now, everything in the line, which includes king sets, queen sets, separate sets of pillowcases, both queen and king, and duvet covers, and they have two different lines. They have a sateen line and a percale line, and I'm going to get to that in a moment. Every one of them uses their zinc technology, and we've had some discussion here where the old Synovia masks used the zinc nanotechnology, and then the newer, the Synovia, the Sono Pro, used a combination of nano zinc and nano silver. For some people, that nano silver was in the minus column. I was really happy to see that the sheets are the zinc technology only. Now, I'm going to give you a sense of the prices, and this is without the Black Friday discount, guys, and I think these are really reasonable. So they gave me my choice of which kind I wanted to try, and I decided that I wanted to try the percale instead of the sateen. So briefly, the difference between percale and sateen is basically a thread count. So in this line, everything is 100% cotton, which I think is great. The difference in the thread count is 270 count thread per square inch in the percale as opposed to 500, so almost double in the sateen. Now, in general, sateen is much more expensive and much more desirable, but in the past, I have tried sateen bed sheets with these high thread counts, and they're supposed to be so luxurious, and honestly, I find them very heavy, and I don't find that after a period of time, after a number of washes, they ever become really silky, and I kind of like that silky, thin, almost a little bit of a soft crispness, if that makes any sense. It sounds like an oxymoron, but I like that about a percale sheet. So when the people at Synovia asked me what I would like to try, I'm sure much to their pleasure, I asked for the cheaper set. And just to give you a sense of the price points for these, so we have king sets and queen sets. In the lower thread count percale, a king set retails for $119. Now, again, that's without any discount. The queen set is $109. So each one of those sets would come with its fitted sheet, its flat sheet, and two pillowcases. And so $119 and $109 for those sets respectively. On the sateen side, it's $149 and $129. Still not bad for that really high thread count. So if you like that high thread count and you like the sateen sheets, or maybe you live in a colder climate or you sleep cold and you like to be nice and toasty warm, you know, $30 more for a king set or $20 more for a queen set doesn't sound like so much. They do have duvet covers as well. So in the percale, the duvets are 100 for a queen and 110 for a king. In the sateen, it's 130 for a queen and 140 for a king. They also sell packs of pillowcases separately. So in the percale, it's $59 for the queen set and $69 for the king set. In the sateen, it's $69 and $79. Now, in the sateen line, you can also purchase a single pillowcase, either queen or king, instead of the set. I don't know why you'd want to do that, and it's not a real economical choice. The other thing I do want to mention about the sizing is that when you look at individual pillowcase sets, not part of the whole bed linen set, but maybe you want to buy an extra pack of pillowcases, they're marked as king and standard, but if you look at the measurements, the standard one actually is a queen size pillowcase. Now, all of these are said to be moisture wicking and cooling. Obviously, for my review and my experience with this, I cannot speak for the sateen, but it also does mention on the website that the sateen is maybe more for cooler climates because it's warmer, and of course it's warmer, and of course it's heavier because it has almost twice as many threads per square inch. But to some extent, I guess that's all relative. It's cooling. I find that the percale sheets are cooler than the sheets I had on my bed, and I'm really mindful of this. So these are the coolest sheets I have now, so I'm thrilled with that. They all say that they are moisture wicking. Now, along the way, I'm going to insert pertinent still pictures that I took, so including the packaging, something so that you can see the sizing on the mattress, and then also the whole picture when I have everything made up. So as for laundering instructions, you can machine wash, machine dry. The machine wash says up to 40 degrees, but that is Celsius, so it is a hot wash. I don't do that, by the way. They say that the technology will last 55 washes. And I've mentioned my comments before, my thoughts about how long the technology lasts when I've talked about the masks. And there's a couple thoughts that I have on that. One is, I remember back when they first got started and they said it was 100 washes, and you can't find this anywhere. So all I can say is I'm relying on my memory, and it's nowhere is this written, and Synovia does not make this claim. But at that time, I know they had tested their fabric at 100 washes and it was still working properly. Since then, they have put on their website 55 washes. So I don't know if that was to account for like a buffer that all different people wash things differently, or if that was at industrial kind of washes, which are particularly harsh because I think they do use an industrial wash where things are put through a lot of rigor. And so they say up to 55 washes that the product is still working. Most of us, maybe at my suggestion here, wash the Synovia after about a week of use. You just don't want things like makeup and skin cells building up inside the mask. But you know, that said, the mask is self-cleaning. Well, the same with the sheets. My thinking on it is the more washings, the more settings through the dryer, the hotter, just the more rigor this stuff goes through, the faster that antimicrobial activity is going to degrade. So if you accept that 55 washes and it's gone, then you have about 1 year plus 7 weeks. So almost 14 months of use before the antimicrobial action is not working for you. So I'm going out on a little bit of a limb here, but I don't think it works like 55 washes and then 0. In fact, I don't think it's a solid 55 washes no matter what. I'm thinking that the more rigor this is subjected to, the faster that will degrade. I also don't think it's like working perfectly, gone, right? I think this is something that begins to degrade over time. And 55 washes is about it. If the testing is done in conditions that are particularly rigorous, like industrial washes, which I'm told that they do, are you going to get more washes out of it if you wash it more gently? I kind of think so. I don't think anybody's going to go to the trouble or the expense of testing this, but I'm operating on that premise. I wash anything Synovia in delicate, on cold, because the item is self-cleaning anyway. It's really to get off any debris, any solid matter. I'm not really washing any of these things for the purpose of cleaning them because the item is doing a better job, I think, than my washing machine can do anyway. Likewise with the dryer, the Synovia masks I actually hang dry. I don't put those in the dryer. The sheets, just being so big and bulky, I just wouldn't have physically the real estate to let these dry. If I did, I would. But I put those in the dryer on very low and I find they dry very fast. Now it might be with the sateen, it takes a little bit longer, but I find they dry just fine. So I treat these gently. And given that, I'm hoping that I get more than 55 washes out of them. And if we said that with the masks at once a week gives you about 14 months, I'm washing these about once every 2 weeks is what I'm thinking. Now, I haven't done that here because I've wanted to wash it several times to let you guys know how it wears and what I notice as a difference. But I'm thinking going forward, once every 2 weeks is probably fine. I mean, somebody let me know if you think that's particularly gross, but this item is self-cleaning. If I can get away with washing a mask once a week, I would think the sheets once every 2 weeks. So if you do that, then instead of a little under 14 months, you've got a little under 28 months. You've got a little over 2 years. And of course, the obvious criticism is, well, you keep sheets for longer than 2 years, right? I mean, I've had sheets for like 20 years. I think these are priced very reasonably, and especially if you decide to buy them before the Black Friday sale is over. If it helps at all, I do get that normally you don't buy sheets planning to only have them for that long, but I find that these are incredibly comfortable sheets, so I would prefer these, just the feel of them, over my regular sheets even after the antimicrobial activity is gone, and I'm going to get to more of that in a moment. I've actually got several items in my cart at the Synovia store right now that I'm planning to buy under this Black Friday sale in this line, so that's how much I like them. All right, so I did say take some pictures so that you can get a sense of what this looks like, how it comes packaged, and then when I unpackaged it, I took some pictures of the tags so you can see the instructions. They've got those universal symbols for like washer, dryer, etc. And one thing I did not say in the laundering issue is don't use bleach. Just like with the masks, don't use anything harsh. You just don't need to. Now, I took these out and decided to wash them right away. I think I would do that anyway. I think I would wash once before use. So when you first take them out of the package, at least the percale, they were almost, I don't want to say stiff, but there was like a crunchiness to them. Like, this is a nice soft sheet. It It sounds like it should sound, but it just sort of felt a little more crunchy coming right out of the package. So I decided to wash it right away. What I noticed is when I took it out of the washing machine, and by the way, this I still notice when I take it out of the washing machine after several washes, it has sort of a sheen to it. It was almost like, oh my gosh, is this a parachute? It was just that, like, it just kind of felt like a funny sort of texture. So then after washing them on delicate and drying them on delicate, I went ahead and put them on the bed, and I did take some shots for you guys so you can see, because one of the questions that's going to come up is, what if I have a super deep mattress? How much extra space is there? I've got some pictures that I'm going to insert where you can see the amount of overhang on the bed, including at the foot of the mattress where I lifted the sheet up and the head of the mattress where I let it hang down. Tried to get some good pictures all the way around all four sides so that you can see these are very generous sheets, very roomy. As far as the fitted sheet, it fits perfectly over my mattress with lots of room to spare. I would think that the fitted sheet would fit fine over a thicker, higher mattress than mine. The pockets are nice and deep. They also have this nice thing where they are labeled short side, long side. How often do you like get one corner on and then walk around, try to get the other corner, and you realize you've got it wrong? You got to turn everything like 90 degrees or whatever, 45 degrees, and start over. So they've got it labeled. So one side says the short side, that would be the head for, you know, the king, that would be the head and the foot, and the other one says the long side, and that would be the length of the bed. And it's just really, that's just such a nicety. It seems so obvious, right? But I've never seen that in a set of sheets. So that's a really nice thing. Another nice thing that I didn't notice until I had washed it twice was that this is the pillowcase. It has this flap so that you don't have the pillow exposed, right? So how clean is that, right? Your pillow is completely covered, whereas normally this part that doesn't get washed very often is sticking out. Yeah, that's my pillow protector. So I have these weird pillow protectors that actually have a pattern underneath them. So since this is white and this is thin and it's very nice and cool, and I think I want to go to sleep now, depending on the light, sometimes mine shows through. I don't think that's an issue because most people's pillow protectors, unlike mine, are white, and so it's not an issue. Okay, so the first night I slept on these, I did notice a little bit of like a crunchy sound, you know, on the pillowcase, and I thought, okay, it doesn't bother me particularly because I kind of like a crisp sheet, but I thought to myself, somebody's going to complain that these are noisy. You know, is this noisy? It's a little bit. I don't want to call it noisy, but it was sort of a first cousin to noisy. Still comfortable, but I decided at that point that I was going to wash these and see how many times it took until it became softer, or if it ever became softer, and I wanted to be able to report that back to you guys. Then after 2 washes, I can say it turned into just a pleasant, normal, like crisp, clean sheet sound, and actually superior in my opinion. And I'll tell you the litmus test. You know how you see in these old-fashioned movies where somebody's making a bed with those crisp white sheets and they just give it a shake and whoosh, the whole sheet bellows nicely and lays down across the bed perfectly flat? I've never been able to do that. I do something like this and like one corner tucks in, something comes toward me, one little piece of it is right. Honestly, guys, I can do that with these sheets. I give it one shake and the whole sheet pretty much spreads out. Is it perfect? No, but it's like nothing I've ever been able to do before. So I do think that has something to do with the texture of it. It just has a very pleasant crispness, and I'm trying to give you a sense of that, a sense of hearing it and seeing it. See, you can't really see my hand through this. They're not that thin. It's a very substantial sheet. It's a substantial fabric. Let me try to give you a close-up of the fabric, see if that'll focus. Yeah, they can pry these out of my cold dead hands. Now, one other benefit of these that I had not thought about, and this is probably true with the face masks as well, is that this is a particularly good product for people who suffer with acne. I hope it doesn't really show on camera, but I have had my struggles even through adulthood with some acne, and what I tend to get is like the deep cystic kind, so it doesn't really show up on camera that much. I more feel it. And I have been treated with Retin-A for years and years because of that. And, you know, I didn't look at that particular claim, nor did I think about it because, you know, I've been talking about their masks for over a year now. But I read it when I got ready to do the review. They tested these against the particular bacteria that causes most acne. Not that I would have needed to see that, because I think the way that this technology works, similarly to the technology in something like Viraloft products, it's very non-specific. It disrupts the membrane of bacteria, it disrupts the outer envelope of viruses. I don't personally need to see them tested against every individual strain of bacteria or virus, but all the more power to them. I'm glad that they did. And they found, of course, that it kills off the bacteria that's responsible for most acne. Well, I didn't know that, again, until I got ready to do the review. So I had already been sleeping on these for close to a month at that point. And I can tell you that I had said, and I had in that time had my routine regular checkup with my dermatologist. And I had said, I'm going through a particularly good time right now. I'm still using the Retin-A that I've had to use, which is the 0.1 in the past, but I'd said that I noticed that maybe I didn't need quite that much anymore. And 0.1 is like a little bit harsh on your skin. And she recommended to go down to the 0.05 and use it every day instead of what I was doing, which is I had dropped down to just using the 0.01 a couple of times a week. And, then I thought back after I had scrolled through and seen this claim, I wondered if this might be part of the reason. I'm sure it hasn't hurt, and I think it's a widely accepted basic fact that zinc is very good for the skin. No, I think that's something they should also market with the masks. If there's any legitimate problem I've heard people talk about with masks, it's that their acne acts up because the skin is just covered and the bacteria sits there. And I think that's a really good selling point I just hadn't thought of, and maybe more pertinent to the mask than to the sheets. I'm hoping that they're kind of giving this a test run with the king and the queen sheets, because I also think that is a good reason to be selling the twin size and the full size, because I think a lot of the people who suffer with acne are like the teenagers. They don't tend to sleep in queen size beds and king size beds. I think that's something to consider, that even if you aren't interested in these sheet sets, that you consider the pillowcases for that reason. And finally, as far as this claim about being cool and moisture wicking, I definitely don't notice any moisture buildup. I do sleep on a Tempur-Pedic mattress. I don't think it's ever going to be particularly cool sleeping on the mattress that we have, but I will say that these are the least hot of any other sheets that I have slept on. So I'm definitely a lot more comfortable. These, I've really replaced my other sheets. So when it's time to wash these, I don't put another sheet on the bed, and I just wash these and put them back on the bed. So this is all I use anymore. And like I said, I'm planning to buy a couple more of the items that they have during this sale. And then I want to tell you about one more product that they sent me. Now, I'm not in a position to do a full review on this product yet. I will after I've had a chance to adequately use it and put it through the rigors of its use. They did send me this seat cover. It goes in a pouch and it's meant for public transportation. I can't really put this through the rigors of a full review yet, because I don't ride on public transportation. But for those of you who do, who would like a sneak peek, and with the disclaimer that I have not really put this through rigor, I will tell you some things that I've already noticed that are very nice about it. So it's in this roomy zippered pouch. How many of you have ever received something that comes out of a pouch, and part of the marketing is that it's supposed to go back into the pouch, and then it never does, right? I can think of several things. I had a very thin down coat that was supposed to do that, so I could easily pack it in my luggage. We had a beach cabana. We had a tent. I think I quit at 3, lesson learned. But I generally stay away from things that are meant to zipper back into themselves, because for me, they never do. Well, enter Synovia's travel seat cover. So I'm going to show you this thing as best I can. So it's kind of like a fitted sheet, right? So this goes at the top, the backrest, and then it has like a bend in it. You can see where there's more. It's like fitted sheet all the way around, but it's just contoured. And then this is the bottom part. It says Synovia, and the actual pouch tucks in, and this would be sitting down under the seat. Or I guess you could do it the other way around too. I guess this could be the top, and maybe this serves as a little bit of a pillow. See, that's one of the things that it's more helpful after you've really had a chance to put it through some rigor. So I will let you know as soon as I've been able to do that. But you guys know the most important thing I was thinking is whether it's going to go back in. So I'm going to try to show you as best I can, but it absolutely does. So I'm going to let it hang down here over my shoulder. I'm just going to roll it up. I'm doing this really very sloppy. I'm not really working at it at all. Here's the pouch. Here's the thing all bunched up. There is a certain amount of stretch to this. And look, it goes right in, like right in. Sorry, I keep trying to switch hands here and still keep it in view and work with it. Okay, so there. They've got a way of solving problems over there that the rest of us have just accepted, for years. And this is one of them. So while I can't say what this is like in daily use, because like I said, I want to do a full review on this item, and I will when I've had a chance to really use it. But if I were somebody traveling on transportation these days, on public transportation, because I had to, would I go ahead and try this? Absolutely. So just because of this feature alone, yeah. So the only thing that I think where this might present some challenges is if you travel on, let's say, a bus or a train where the seats aren't individually carved out. So if it's like more of a bench, like for two people, and it doesn't have a headrest, I think most of them are kind of individually carved out these days, but this might not work for you in that kind of a setting. Anything that's individually carved out, yeah, I would go ahead and give one of these a try because they have the 30% off sale right now. You know, another thing I can think of that I think they ought to be making are those covers, those like foldable things that they make for diaper bags for people when they're out in public and they have to change their babies. I can remember being asked, don't you have one of those pads? I mean, back when I had young babies that needed their diapers changed. And my feeling was always, no, I'm not taking a nice fabric pad and laying it down on this public diaper changing station and then folding it up where there's no way to make sure that the inside and the outside don't touch and putting it back in my bag and then maybe taking it out and laying it down again. Like, no, it's just honestly better to just put the baby down on that hard surface that's probably less friendly than a fabric to bacteria and whatnot, and then just make sure they have a bath when they get home and put the clothes in the wash. But this is the answer. Synovia, I think you got to make diaper bags with diaper changing pads. You're welcome. I'll look forward to doing a full review on this. And of course, I will keep you guys posted about the trip, the planning for the trip. You know, that's all going to be quite a ways down the road. For those of you interested in trying out these sheets, you know, I don't think you're going to be sorry. Again, I can only speak to the percale ones, but I just like that thinner, cooler feeling of linen. If I want more weight or more warmth, I'll get that in the form of a blanket. I'm actually thinking about getting a duvet cover from them because I just think this is a great idea. And a duvet cover, you know, really doesn't have to be washed but once in a while. So that antimicrobial benefit is really going to stick. If you guys have any questions, comments, whatever, go ahead and put them down in the comment section. And hopefully the people at Synovia will be trolling around in there and can answer any questions as well. I hope you give them a try. I'm really enjoying these. And like I said, I'm planning to buy a couple more items in this line myself. So let me know if it was helpful. And until next time, be well. Bye-bye.